2022 was a surprising year for video games, with some hits and misses, but 2023 features some of the most anticipated video games yet. 2022 saw the release of many unique games both in terms of stories and gameplay. Some excellent recent titles include God of War Ragnarok and Marvel's Midnight Suns, which even though they were released later in the year, offered some fresh and exciting for gamers. In fact, they even set the next year up with the tough act to follow. Here are some of the most highly anticipated games players should expect to hit shelves this year. And let me know your thoughts in comments below that for which franchise you are most excited about. Number 1. Hogwarts Legacy brings magic to the players. The Harry Potter franchise introduced fans to a world of magic that was entertaining as it was welcoming to all. However, there's yet to be a way for fans to immerse themselves in the world and feeling the power of its magic in their hands. That said, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment finally cracked the conundrum and has offered up the game Hogwarts Legacy. Therein, players can create an avatar of themselves that will be a student at Hogwarts, where they can learn spells, train creatures, and duel as they can cover a large mystery. Coming to next-gen consoles on Feb 10th, Hogwarts Legacy could be the next great Wizarding World experience. And number 2. Assassin's Creed Mirage. Assassin's Creed Valhalla introduced the complicated character of Basim. By the end of the game, he may seem more villainous, but he didn't start that way. Now, Assassin's Creed Mirage will explore his early years training as a student before he became an assassin master. Being that the character is Middle Eastern, Mirage will also offer players a chance to return the older Assassin's Creed tropes, like an eagle feather being used to confirm a skill. There's still much to be uncovered, and a release date hasn't been set, but gamers will undoubtedly enjoy Assassin's Creed Mirage, bringing them back to the franchise's old days. And number 3. Final Fantasy 16. The Final Fantasy franchise has always been known for the unique stories that come with each entry. Whether set in a version of the future or a distant past, each story has shown that heroes come from unlikely places and power and can corrupt as much as it can save. Now, Final Fantasy 16 will show yet another example of this, as a new story is woven for players. Set in a world filled with knights and sorcery, multiple characters interact in a dying world where magic, fate, and luck converge in a battle of icons. So far, the story between the characters is still mostly unknown, but players will be able to uncover the mystery on the PlayStation 5 in the summer of 2023. And on number 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Respawn Entertainment's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order brought narrative focus back to Star Wars games and introduced a new character in Cal Kestis. When his first adventure ended, he was officially a Jedi and ready to travel the galaxy, helping where he could against the Empire. Now, Star Wars Jedi Survivor follows up on what he has been up to since, and a new mystery must be uncovered. There are many questions that have yet to be answered in terms of story, but the fact that the rest of the Mantis crew can be found makes it clear that Cal may be in over his head in terms of danger. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, his next-gen console on March 15th. And number 5, Tekken 8. Tekken 7 showed the limits of fighting games in current-gen consoles were meant to be pushed to the limit. Now Tekken 8 will do the same as it breaks its way to next-gen consoles. Not much known about what mechanics have been added or taken away, but the detail in the character models and environments shows that this could be the most visceral Tekken yet. Tekken 7 story is left off with Kazuya, officially the franchise's main antagonist, and a band of relatives forming alliances to face him. Now the feud between father and son may come to an end as Jin and Kazuya face off for what may be the last time. Tekken 8 will hit consoles on August 8. And number 6, Street Fighter 6. The Street Fighter franchise has become one of the most experimental fighting game franchises ever. While the previous installment had a rocky start with a limited roster of characters, Street Fighter 6 has seemingly learned from the series' mistakes and offered something that is both traditional and groundbreaking for new players. For starters, players can now make inputs much easier so that they can better compete against against opponents. There's also a third-person story component that makes Street Fighter 6 more a community for fellow fighters to meet up and battle. With so much that's new, fans will be clamoring to see what Capcom has to offer in 2023. And number 7, The Legend of Zelda. The last era of the Zelda franchise has revolutionized the character and made the series a staple for how RPGs could and should be played, while its cel-shaded designs allows for maximum details. The gameplay utilizes clever physics to create something awe-inspiring. That said, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild introduced an epic story that was only just the beginning. Now, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will bring something even more epic while pushing the limits of its gameplay to give players the most immersive experience yet. Not much is known of the story, but the stakes seem higher than ever and will definitely blow the minds of Switch players when it drops on May 12th. And number 8, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Marvel's Spider-Man offered a definitive next-gen look at how superhero games should be made and also redefined what a Spider-Man game should be like. When it was time for Miles Morales to don the mask, his story continued to expand on the gameplay and narrative without compromising quality. While both games still had certain aspects that needed improvement, Marvel Spider-Man 2 looks to be the chance to further refine combat, transversal and even story. With Miles, Peter and even Venom entering the fray, anything could happen. But as Insomniac's games has proven, each entry is a step up the ladder. Fans will have to wait for the new entries release in 2023 to see what unfolds. And number 9, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Rocksteady Studios helped to introduce a new type of superhero game with the Arkham franchise. Since then, however, the studio has not been very active on the superhero game front. Interestingly enough, its next foray will actually put supervillains into the spotlight in the game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The title says it all, and players will be able to play as Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot and King Shark. Each character has their own style and proves that Rocksteady hasn't missed a beat since the last DC game they crafted. It's unclear exactly when the game will come out, but when it does, at some point in 2023, fans will finally know what it's like to be on the receiving end of a superhero attack. And number 10, Starfield. Even before titles like Mass Effect, space has always been a topic of discussion in video games. However, there have been many successes and many failures when it came to charting the stars in a way that lets players make their own choices. Now Bethesda Softworks is ready to try its hand at the genre with Starfield. Even though it's been in development for years, there's still much that's unknown about what can be expected from the game. Nevertheless, it promises deep levels of exploration, crafting and interaction with many characters and aliens that are encountered on each world. While there's no release date set, fans can expect Starfield to hit the Xbox Series X and S in 2023. Now, if you want more gaming updates and games, consider subscribing.